You drink water every day, but are you drinking it the right way to protect your brain? According to the American Stroke Association, 1 in 4 strokes occurs in adults over 60, and experts now say dehydration plays a far bigger role than most seniors realize by thickening blood, increasing blood pressure, and triggering clot formation. But here's the hopeful part. Drinking water the right way, not just how much, but when and how fast, can improve circulation and protect your brain from stroke. Today on Golden Aging Health, we're revealing 3 science-backed ways seniors should drink water to dramatically reduce stroke risk. These hydration strategies are doctor-recommended, easy to follow, and can help you support blood flow, brain health, and energy. Before we dive in, go ahead and tap that like button and hit subscribe to Golden Aging Health so you never miss out on practical, research-based strategies to help you stay sharp, mobile, and independent after 60. Now, let's kick off with hydration habit number 1, the simplest way to support brain circulation before 9 a.m.
Hydration habit number 1. Drink water within 30 minutes of waking up. Picture this. You've just woken up. Your body's rested, but your brain? It's been without water for over 8 hours. And that silent dehydration could be putting your brain and your heart at serious risk. According to the Mayo Clinic, dehydration thickens your blood. That means your heart has to work harder to pump it, and your risk of clotting goes up. For seniors over 60, that's a recipe for stroke. Dr. Alan Toffig, a neurologist with New York Presbyterian Hospital, explains, even mild dehydration can decrease cerebral blood flow and impair vascular function, especially in older adults. Hydration is one of the most overlooked stroke prevention tools. I'll never forget Joe, a 72-year-old retired contractor from Ohio. Every day for over 40 years, Joe started his morning the same way. Black coffee, no cream, no sugar, strong enough to wake the dead, as he liked to say. Water? It wasn't even on his radar until maybe lunchtime, if that. But then the little things started creeping in. First, it was dizziness when he stood up from his chair. Must have stood too fast, he told himself. Next came the dry mouth, the headaches that lingered into the afternoon, and the odd sense of pressure in his head, not quite painful, but unsettling. Then, one morning, while sanding a piece of wood in his garage, Joe paused and blinked. The right side of his vision had gone fuzzy. Just for a moment, but it was enough to scare him. His wife, Martha, insisted they go to the doctor. Blood pressure? Higher than normal. Blood work showed signs of chronic dehydration. Not extreme, but enough to thicken his blood, increase the workload on his heart, and elevate his risk of clotting. That's when the doctor gave him what Joe now calls the simplest health tip I ever got. Start your day with a glass of water, before the coffee, before the news, before anything else, the doctor said. Joe raised an eyebrow. That's it? Yes, the doctor nodded. And it might help protect you from a stroke. So the next morning, Joe did it. Just 8 ounces of room temperature water right after waking. He added a splash of lemon for flavor and sat with it in the quiet of the kitchen before brewing his usual coffee. Within a week, he noticed he wasn't getting dizzy anymore. His head felt clearer and his energy picked up. No more dragging himself out to the garage. By the second week, His blood pressure came down slightly. Nothing drastic, but enough that his doctor smiled at the follow-up appointment and said, "Looks like that water's working." Now, it's a habit Joe swears by. For years, I thought being healthy had to be complicated. Turns out, it starts with a glass of water. That's why the first glass of water you drink each day is the most important. Here's what doctors recommend. Drink 6 to 8 ounces, around 200 milliliters of room temperature water within the first 30 minutes of waking up. Avoid cold water first thing. Cold temperatures can cause blood vessels to constrict, reducing circulation. Add a splash of lemon for gentle detox and trace electrolytes, which help your cells absorb water more efficiently. How do you start your day? Do you drink coffee first like Joe did, or do you drink water right after waking? Add the word water in the comments and tell us your morning routine. And stay tuned, because in the next section, I'll reveal the pre-bed hydration trick that can protect your brain overnight without making you run to the bathroom at 2 a.m.
Hydration habit number 2. Drink water the right way before bed. Many people over 60 avoid drinking water before bed for one simple reason. They don't want to get up to use the bathroom. That's completely understandable. But here's what experts are now urging seniors to consider. Dehydration during sleep is a major contributor to early morning strokes. According to the American Stroke Association, a surprising number of strokes happen between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., right when the body is naturally low on hydration and blood is at its thickest. That's because while you sleep, you're not drinking water, and your body continues to lose fluids through breathing and sweat. If you're already slightly dehydrated when you go to bed, this drop can create the perfect storm: thicker blood, higher blood pressure, and slower circulation. And what does that lead to? Increased risk of clotting and stroke, particularly for seniors with pre-existing cardiovascular issues. But here's the key. You don't need a full glass of water before bed. Doctors recommend what they call cushion hydration. Try this instead. Drink a small glass, about 4 ounces, of room temperature water 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. Make sure you've used the bathroom first. Avoid sugary drinks or caffeine in the evening, as they act as diuretics. If you take blood pressure meds at night, this hydration can actually help them work more effectively by easing blood flow. My neighbor, Nancy, 68, always avoided evening water because of her nocturia, but she also had high blood pressure and a family history of strokes. Her doctor suggested a compromise: a small glass of water 1 hour before bed, not right before lying down. Within 2 weeks, Nancy noticed fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and she wasn't waking up groggy or lightheaded anymore. At her next checkup, her doctor noted improved blood pressure consistency during her overnight monitor test. She said, "It's such a small amount of water, I didn't think it could matter. But I feel steadier now, even in the mornings." Finally, let's move to a hydration habit that many seniors overlook. But when done right, it can significantly lower your stroke risk during the day. It's simple, easy, and might surprise you. Hydration habit number 3, midday water timing. Let me tell you about Carl, a 72-year-old retired math teacher from Illinois. Carl considered himself pretty healthy, walked every morning, ate mostly home-cooked meals, and always remembered to take his morning blood pressure pills. But one hot afternoon, while pruning the hedges in his backyard, Carl suddenly felt lightheaded, His vision blurred. He managed to sit down just before he fainted. Paramedics later told him he was dehydrated and that his blood had thickened, a common risk factor for stroke, especially during warm midday hours. The shocking part? Carl had drunk a full glass of water that morning, but hadn't had another sip since. Carl thought drinking water in the morning was enough. But what he and many seniors didn't realize is that your body loses hydration continuously throughout the day, especially through sweat, medications, or just regular breathing. And after 60, your thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive, meaning you don't always feel thirsty even when your body desperately needs fluid. Do you usually forget to drink water in the afternoon like Carl? Or do you have a trick to remind yourself? Share it in the comments. Your tip might help another senior stay safe. According to the American Heart Association, staying consistently hydrated helps maintain healthy blood volume and viscosity, two major factors in stroke prevention. In fact, studies have shown that even mild dehydration can lead to thicker blood, increasing the likelihood of clot formation. Most strokes happen between late morning and early afternoon, especially in older adults who are on diuretics or blood pressure medications. Dehydration makes your blood harder to pump and more likely to clot, exactly the kind of condition that leads to ischemic strokes, which account for nearly 87% of all stroke cases, per the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. That's why doctors advise the elderly to develop the habit of drinking water at noon. And here's how you can start today. Drink half to 1 cup of water every hour between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., especially if you're outside, active, or taking diuretics. Add a pinch of sea salt or a splash of natural juice if you're prone to electrolyte imbalances. Avoid going longer than 2 hours without a sip, even if you're not thirsty. Fill up a glass, follow the routine, and give your body the hydration rhythm it needs to fight stroke before it strikes. Let's take a moment to quickly recap the 3 doctor-approved hydration habits that could help prevent stroke in seniors over 60. Hydrating before bed to support overnight blood flow and brain detox, drinking small, steady amounts between meals, not just with them, and staying hydrated through midday, especially during peak stroke hours. Each of these habits might seem simple, even obvious, but for older adults, how and when you drink water can literally mean the difference between smooth blood flow or dangerous clot formation. You don't need expensive supplements, complicated routines, or extreme changes to reduce your risk. Just a few targeted hydration strategies based on what science now knows about aging and blood viscosity can support your heart, your brain, and your independence. Was this video helpful? Tap like, hit subscribe, and become part of our Golden Aging Health community, where we turn complex science into practical, everyday wellness tips for seniors. And if you know someone over 60 who might skip water or isn't sure how much to drink, share this video with them. You might just help them avoid a preventable stroke. Want more ways to protect your brain and heart naturally? Check out our full playlist, Stroke and Heart Attack, in the description below, packed with expert-backed, easy-to-follow strategies made just for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, a few sips at the right time might save your life.